Uber in deep, deep trouble. Illegal DoorDash and Spark accounts worse in 2026 than 2025, if you can believe that. And DoorDash delivery getting extremely bad PR for something for the sanitariness of their drivers, which we talk about all this liquor delivery and stuff like that, but right on the other side, guys. Welcome to Thursday Night Live, everybody, where we talk about a lot of gig stuff. And who knows what road we'll go down. We do know there's some things that we are going to hit on today because they are fresh off the press, and Sean and I were just talking about it. But I do want to introduce again, guys, Sean has been nice enough to sit in these New Year's weeks while we kind of get things kicked off. Sean did his I was going to say Virgin. Your Virgin podcast.
My Virgin.
I'm sorry. I ran out of words, man.
Hey,
but
man,
he did his first episode of his podcast this week. And I was there. To be honest, I thought it went great. I think that I do think you had a little. I know that you had said you had done a couple things on TikTok and whatnot. Because if you hadn't done anything ever, I would be extremely impressed. You did very good. So, especially with me in the chat, giving you a little crap here.
Yeah, I'm probably my biggest critic. It took me longer to edit my video to go onto the podcast. I mean, I literally spent all day yesterday getting everything, cleaning up a lot of the uhs, and then particularly the mic breaths and stuff. It's amazing how much of that shows up on there. So, yeah, bear with me, guys. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and thanks for mentioning that, Steve.
Yeah, of course. And the link to Sean's podcast, and again, I'll plug it at the end too, but is in the description already. And it's every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Sorry, Sean and I are both in Mountain Time. So if you guys wonder why I'm always struggling with that, it's because I don't live in either. However, Sean, you probably know this. Most of our viewers come from those.
Right. And if they're
not in Mountain Time,
the very end of my podcast, I say, yes, we actually have a Mountain Time zone.
Yeah. And then there's another one too called Central, you guys, that squeezes in the middle there too. Hey, Christopher Taylor, what's up? And a few of you, Christopher, Bubba Sue, Sean, right before we got started, were sending me the article I already had put into the rundown. It was it's definitely it's going to be a big problem.
Yep.
Yeah, Toyo's Eastern. So, I mean, look, Sean and I are not ignorant to the fact that 80% of the United States population lives east of the Mississippi.
Right.
So we don't optimize the land. Well, actually,
and the other 19% lives on the west of the Mississippi or west of us.
Yeah, it's like, that's why we don't advertise it too much, because you guys are all so compact in there. Like, west of the Mississippi is the other 20%, and then break apart that to mostly on the coast. It's kind of how we like it. Like, give us some room.
Well,
man.
Then we got Christopher, who never changes the damn time, which screws up everything.
Yeah, and every time that happens too, I always every time it comes up, I see people even in his area though challenging it. We need to end this. We need to keep this. Like, it's like I think we should all be on that. Like, I'm sick of
absolutely. I think they should get rid of the stupid time zone stuff, and maybe that's something I should bring up from a safety standpoint on my podcast sometime.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, like I said, we got some topics. The big one we'll jump into second because it had a couple others that'll play into it. I did pull a 2-minute video I want to play for you guys. You might have seen this already. And I want to shout out to, I scrolled past this, I'll be honest, because I've had such a busy week. I did see it and I just thought it's just another story. But then when somebody sends it to me, of course I take a look, and when I hadn't heard from Roy in a little bit, and Roy sent it to me from work the other day. So real talk with Roy. Thank you for sending that to me, because it is a horrible story. And for you women shoppers out there who were busting on us for being men on Instacart, this one's kind of for you, because this one ain't a guy delivering. But here's what's going on.
Instacart.
Here's what's going on, and it's raising a problem. Normally, just so you guys are aware, in years past, DoorDash would have buried this story. It would have not leaked out to even the news, Toledo, which then leaked out to national. This is kind of more about what we're in this year. So
tonight we begin with the DoorDash delivery caught on camera that's raising serious concerns tonight about food safety.
A Toledo woman says she watched in real time as her delivery driver did something she calls disgusting before dropping off the food. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means has the video. She's live with the story tonight. Alexis?
Well, the customer told me that this is something no one wants to see before their meal is delivered. A Toledo woman says she'll never order food delivery again after her Ring camera caught something disturbing. Ring camera video shows what appears to be a DoorDash driver with her hand down her pants. Ashley May says her food was delivered Monday just after 5 p.m.
I ordered my DoorDash, and when it arrived, I was watching it on my camera, and I seen the person who delivered it reach like inside of their pants and itch or something for a little while, and then they used the same hand to like set my food down and then proceeded to take a picture and leave.
May says she couldn't believe what she saw.
I was like, I didn't see what I just seen, so I like rewinded it to make sure, and it was absolutely that.
She did not eat the food.
I went out there with like garbage bags over my hands and just like threw it right in the dumpster. I took it right to the trash.
She reported the driver to DoorDash.
They were giving me a refund within like 5 to 7 business days, and then they contacted me today with, they still gave me $50 worth of credit on my account, so probably won't use it, but it's there.
DoorDash issued this statement to 13 Action News. This behavior is unacceptable. We immediately took action to deactivate the dasher and have contacted the customer to make things right. Restaurants get inspected, but delivery drivers, the health department says that's a different story. A spokesperson issued us this statement. Toledo-Lucas County Health Department food inspectors work closely with operators to ensure proper food safety practices inside the facility. However, once food leaves the establishment, these safeguards are no longer guaranteed. Delivery drivers are not typically trained food handlers, but they play a role in maintaining food safety during transport. Consumers should understand that some level of risk exists when using third-party delivery services. For May, the risk may be too much.
Definitely, I won't be ordering delivery anymore. I will pick it up or I'll make something at home.
Now, the driver spoke with us on social media. She says the video doesn't tell the whole story. Sasha, back to you.
Dude, honestly, there's so many points in there that probably aren't even. I saw the puking emojis. I'm right there with you. You all like them, absolutely. But
right.
Things that were striking me were like the DoorDash lady saying that, well, it doesn't tell the whole story. It absolutely tells the whole story. If there's more to that story, I don't want to know it.
No, thank you. Exactly. I saw too much of the story anyway.
Because I started thinking like, I know you have to say something, but what could be more that, are you having like a problem down there? That makes it worse. Is there like, no matter this, that's not the whole story. That is,
right.
You better hope that's the whole story.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, I got emotional damage from seeing that damn thing 4 or 5 times like they had to on the whole thing. What? That once wasn't enough. It had to imprint me for life.
Yeah. See, so Derek came in right as that was. Ooh, what a moment to start the stream.
So did you?
Sorry,
see
Derek.
Christopher brings up a real good point. He says he has his food handler safety license,
and that was the other point
that they bring up.
And that was the other thing I wanted to hit on. I even told Sean, I said, maybe what I'm getting before we started, maybe what I'm getting from the stories and what everybody else says, it kind of leads down the liquor path. You're not licensed to do liquor. In all reality, you're not even licensed to do the food.
Okay, but
I
the
mean,
problem of that is because we're independent contractors, they can't direct us on making us take these classes. But I'm gonna tell you, why don't we change the industry and make it better and have people like Christopher? I have my food handling safety card that I've taken from the Department of Health in my local jurisdiction, and I get a buck an order extra. I bet people would pay for that crap all day long. I would.
so I got the impression she knows her. I'm just being
Hey,
honest.
what's
You,
up,
you could
Doug?
be right, but I didn't get that at all. Not at all. Like that the customer, are you saying that the customer knew the driver? I don't think so. Because if
It almost feels like clickbait of some sort,
yeah, but I mean,
because it was like such a
however,
perfect scenario.
the news is running the story. So whoever drew the short straw and who'd be fake delivering the food is going to get screwed in this.
Well, but to Doug's point, it almost seems like one of those
Oh,
TikTok videos or whatever where it seems scripted because it was like the perfect freaking video. You know, it was like, how do you now? But stupid people do stupid.
I see
So
people
I don't
do that
know.
stuff every day.
Right.
I think that nowadays there's just even in apartments, and I think maybe that's where part of it is. Even in apartments,
Right.
everybody's got a Ring camera.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I
Well, that
mean,
was seeing and I think back to Doug's point, that's why would you throw DNA of it? Doug, thanks, brother. And oh my gosh. Well, this is getting a little
DNA of
derailed
what though?
here.
Because it was in the bag. Like, let's hope
Right.
to God they didn't get into the bag. But I guess what it points out to
Right.
me isn't
Oh
just the
no.
food handler license. It points out that that's why
Right.
I've said to people, like, I know that some people are like, yeah, Chinese, they do. Yeah, I'm pretty much set. I'm to the point where I think every bag should be stapled 100 times and then 1,000 stickers rolled over it. I want to know they weren't touching nothing. You know, forget about like what they did. We all know that some people might do things to food. Just saying. Especially like somebody in a bad mood, or you never know, man.
Well, and that happens. I mean, if anybody, you go troll, you go creep on Reddit for a while, and you'll see plenty of horror stories about that.
And Christopher Taylor, yeah, I saw that you
We're gonna
emailed
talk
me.
about that,
Actually, a bunch of
Christopher.
people had. That's what we're going to get into right here, because this is huge. And like I said in the very beginning, it just happened. You know, when things happen on the day that we do a live, of course we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
But this is big too. This is really big. Even what I think even just last week, a few things happened, if I remember it. I would have to go back to double check myself. I know we were talking about it, but we said just wait till a few of these cases are figured out. I said, you know, maybe they'll be
Correct.
quick, maybe they won't be. I didn't know it'd be this quick. We have a case done. Like,
Right.
this
No, I
lady's
think that surprises all of us. We weren't expecting it to come that quickly.
8.5 million on the first court case to go through on the sexual assault. So there's at least 3,000 that we know of. And in fact, I think I have this here in case we wanted to talk about any of these stats real quick, but here. So the jury found Uber liable for the driver's actions, awarded 8.5 million to the plaintiff. Uber faces 3,000 similar lawsuits in federal court. Uber has argued drivers are independent contractors, company not liable for the criminal conduct. Now, this is where I'm curious if this person is one of the people that was assaulted, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know it for certain, but it's out there. But I don't believe this is one of the people who the claim against the driver. There's many of these cases have the driver has, even Uber's admitted it, that, yeah, we know they had 2 to 3 other sexual claims.
Right.
I don't think this is one of those. I think this is just one that, yeah, there was no claim and boom. What my
Right.
guess is, and I know Sean has worked in a little bit in the legal field. So like, I mean, he's not a lawyer. He can't give you legal advice, but my
And
guess,
I don't play one on television.
yeah, no, but my guess is that the judge is, so, and this is what I was saying about this year. They've all had it. Politicians, judges, they've all been waiting and they've had it. You know, even if they were getting favors done by these companies, they're done. But
Right.
I think that the judge is just like, listen, man, okay, like let's just even think that they know the basics. Where are you doing these background checks?
Right.
Checker? They cost $23. I see that Checker is the cheapest in the world. And in Rideshare, does this cheap $23 background check at least do a fingerprint? No. I think as soon as a judge finds
That's where
that
we
out,
got to
it's
get.
going to be like, you know what? Why are you even bothering with these?
Right. So anybody who has Uber stock right now, you better go dump it, because after hours trading, it's almost lost as much as it gained. Steve's already got me there.
That's
almost lost
one.
its
By the way,
gains.
guys, that's 1 month. This is 5 days.
So the after hours trading, Steve, it's down 1.24% on the live market right now, and they only had 1.75. Guys, if you're investing in Uber, get your ass out right now, go cash out on it and go invest in crypto, because it took a big dive today. But anyway, I'm not a financial analyst either, nor do I play one on television.
But so one of the comments that Sean made was that, well, maybe this will turn into class actions. From my takeaway with Bryant, I think this could have turned into class actions had this and some others lost. I think this initial win out of the gate is going to, like we were talking about when I had Bryant on from Legal Rideshare, he was kind of saying how this being bellwether case is going to determine how it goes, and how I took that, and him and I talked before and after the live, but how I took it was, if this case loses, which it just did, there's going to be a lot of lawyers calling up these victims who have been ignoring them for years, not because they don't want to do the case for them, but because Uber has agreements in place that until now have stopped anybody from taking this course of action. I think people are sick of, oh yeah, we'll just do a class action. I don't think they're going to want a class action on this. They've waited this long. I think they just want to know they have representation. And my guess is lawyers will be calling them now and saying, we got you.
Well, there's already 3,000 cases we know of that are filed. So do those 3,000 cases convert now over to a class suit? And I think some of them will, but some of them they're going to push forward. And I do think they need to push forward, because this really pushes towards, really making this a safer platform for both riders and for drivers.
Yeah. 7-figure Dasher saying it looks like it might be time to buy soon. Yeah, man. If you're doing if you're a day trader, I guess this would be a perfect time to play with day trading. If you know anything about it, I'm not a hedger.
Play the short.
But I mean, if you can play the short,
should have done that
exactly,
2 days
dude. If you
ago,
can play the
you should have
short,
done it 2 days ago. Yeah,
I know, but I could see this. I mean, let's just watch the cases go on.
Right.
I mean, you guys, there's no way.
Again, for me,
there's no way the hyper evaluation of DoorDash and I know there's other factors. It's not this easy, but I know the hyper in valuation, which has also fallen for DoorDash, which had them over the 200 mark, and Uber's like jiving around 70. There's a lot more volume being traded on Uber too. There's a lot, and there and I don't know if actually I'm drawing a blank. I know that Lyft is on the NASDAQ, Uber's on the Dow. I think, where is DoorDash? I think DoorDash is on the Dow.
DoorDash should be on the Dow. I'm not sure where they sit in that perspective. Where the hell's Sergio while you and I are, acting like financial analysts?
Well, that's the last thing we'd need, dude. He'd be like, and I love him. We all love him, but he'd be on here going, listen, you guys, just stop doing rideshare and listen to me, invest your money.
Rideshare, go buy it. Wait till I get my autonomous vehicles and come ride with me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Sergio.
Even freaking Harry is sold out, dude. Now he has the what's he calling the new channel? The undriver guy or whatever the hell it is.
But Harry, I've always said this, man. I know Harry pretty well, and I got to say that Harry is never. I mean, he did a few rides in the very beginning, but really, what he did was built a business, and I got to respect that. He's got like 30 some odd employees.
Oh, hell yeah!
He pays them. I mean, they get time off. He has to juggle the business portion, and so Harry told me he's been on the podcast 3 times. Harry doesn't go on podcasts. He's been on this one 3 times. So every time he's on, the last time he was on, he's like, why do you keep having me back? Have Sergio on. Like that's how he started it. And I was like, because man, I wanted to know about, this was a couple of years ago, last time he was on, but I wanted to know about those
Right.
mini AVs that held like one person. I haven't seen him since, but he was doing some testing with them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I wanted to know about that. And we went into other things too. And we actually the conversation went into the branding of Rideshare Guy and all that he does. And I think he does do a lot. I mean, like Sergio didn't start with
Absolutely.
Show Me the Money Club. Sergio started as a trader on the stock market in New York,
On Wall
not at
Street.
home.
Yep.
And then but when he came to California, he started writing for various publications. I don't know if you all are familiar, so I'll just tell it in a nutshell because I know the story well. Him and Harry met because Sergio kept dogging on the Rideshare Guy. Any article that came out from the Rideshare Guy, Sergio wasn't just writing replies. He was writing, "You're wrong. Here's why you're wrong. This is wrong. You're wrong. This is." And what did Harry do?
Right.
Harry pulled the best business move ever and hired him and said,
But see,
and Sergio
that's-
said, "Wait, I'm not going to report what you want." And he goes, "No, you're going to report what you want."
and that's really what I do respect about both Harry and Sergio. Harry built a brand. Sergio knows where it's going, but Sergio isn't leaving the drivers behind. He's providing an opportunity for a lot of them because, look, guys, as much as Steve and I love to hate on Waymo, and we're going to do it tonight. Don't stay tuned, but it is going to change. We're not going to have the same number of drivers that we are, and there needs to be a plan B, and that's really what Sergio is trying to do: is help drivers transition into that plan B opportunity. And so,
Yeah, and I
we'll just
and
have to
I
see
would
where
even
all this
take that a
goes.
step farther. Here, Sergio and I are extremely close, have been for years. And I'll say this, that I think even more so, he's working with full-time drivers. He's wanting to help full-time drivers who only do this. Like I do this, Sean does this, but we do other things too. Or maybe we have some income coming in from this or that or the other.
Right.
And some of you might be doing that too. We are optimizing our independent contractorship. Sergio's trying to look out for those that haven't and are now in this game where even, I don't want to put out the numbers yet. I put them out loosely the other day, but even the number of full-time drivers is way down.
Right.
I mean, it used to be
Well-
15%, which might not sound like much to you guys. 85% and these are all gig apps for the country.
Right.
85% worked 14 hours or less a week. This was before. This was like in 2023 study, but there's a 2025. 85% was 14 or less a week. And of that, 60% was 7 hours or less a week.
Right.
So 85% in
So the
2023 was
report-
working less than 14 hours, and 60% of the total was working less than 7. That's basically maybe 1.5 shift a week or just extra money.
Right.
This year, and I don't want to exactly quote the number, but I do know that it's about half. I feel safe saying that. Like it's not 85 and it's not 15% full-time drivers anymore. It's like 7 or 8. We'll have to get to, and it might even be a little lower.
Yeah, I think it's 8.
We'll have to
I
get to
think it
that.
was 8% is what I heard, what I remember hearing.
And you guys, that's just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just saying that, and by the way, I did have a good question asked to me. Somebody asked me, is that for people who work on one platform? And I was like, that's a good question. It's not. What they do is see how many they see how many hours you're working in the gig space. They don't care how many. You could have one app, but you could have 100 too. They don't care. They just want to know, is this what you're doing or is this supplemental income?
And you know what, guys? Even if you're doing it part-time, you got a multi-app if you're going to make any damn money doing this.
Hey, Derek, did it have a Rideshare Rodeo bumper sticker? There's only one in town that does, and I'm sure they probably took it off. But when I slapped it, I put it down low. Who knows, man? Maybe they missed it. Or I mean, when the guy that I saw do it.
I mean, when somebody else may have slapped it.
Yeah, it wasn't me, man. But yeah, so we got this going on. I think, I didn't even know what to expect. I didn't know when this would come out. I am shocked to see that the first case out of the gate. And again, I don't think this is one of the cases where the person had there. And again, everybody remember, there are cases out there of people who got accused of sexual assault or at least crossing a line. Maybe not like a rape or something, but they crossed a line and they got a complaint. There are some drivers that have 3 or 4 who are still on the platform. I mean, maybe not now, but who are in these 3,000 cases.
Right.
Like some of these cases are, well, the person's been reported 4 times.
Just so you know, Steve, this is the case that we've been talking about. So if this one's worth $8.5 million, what are the rest worth?
Right. And I mean, here's what I wonder is like, how much will it vary anyway? I mean, if you were sexually assaulted, you were sexually assaulted. Most judges aren't going to all be like 8.5 done. There will be variables, but at least we have a marker. Like, I don't think you're going to see ones. I don't think you're going to see a comparable case to the Arizona case in North Carolina that gets 4 million. I don't think you're going to see that.
Right. But $8.5 million, that's a big deal for a first case. But again, like we were talking about with all the depositions and all the stupid statements made, on Slack and everything else, I'm not surprised it's $8.5 million. And, and all these other cases, they're going to be using this case as a precedence, guys. So where the hell's Brian? Again, you and I talking like we're legal experts.
Hey, and you know what, guys? Perfect plug for that. Bryant was on here with me last week, so I'll just make it very quick. You don't have to always save in your phone legalrideshare.com, but also on YouTube at Legal Rideshare.
Yes.
At Legal Rideshare. Bryant does a 20-minute live with one of the partners at the firm, Jared, every week. It's on Friday. I don't know if there's an exact time. I think that Mountain Time, like for Sean and I, it's somewhere around 2 or 3 or something. I don't really know. It's kind of like the end of the day for them, but it seems to be around 4 or 5 Chicago time is what they target.
Right.
So, that would be 5 or 6 Eastern time. So check it out, because I guarantee tomorrow this will be top subject. And I'll be in the live asking some questions.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be joining it too. And guys, Steve promotes them, because he believes in them, not because he's being paid by them. And I'm going to tell you, they're amazing. I can't wait for the day that I get big enough that I can have Bryant on my podcast, because the guy, he's one of the quote founders, I guess, of representing.
He's the CEO, co-founder, and lead attorney for Rideshare, Legal Rideshare. And they were founded in 2016, 10 years now. If you've noticed in your town, there's other legal firms that have maybe moved away from their old billboards of hurt in an accident to do you do rideshare or things like that. And that's kind of a tag, but those people have only been around since the pandemic or even sooner, like Bryant's been around. Bryant actually knows all those attorneys. That's why I tell you all, go to him, ask him questions. So, hey, Dustin, what's up?
Well, the thing I like about Bryant, he's not trying to flex. He's just real about it. And he genuinely, like he said, whenever he was on your podcast before, he's like, I try and represent everybody. I can't, but I try, and if not, he's going to give him guidance. So,
Bryant, and you hear this whole long plug you're getting, by the way?
Right. And we're not being paid for this either. What the hell?
No, I mean, but
it's
again,
okay.
Listen, I've known him since pre-pandemic. I met him in 2017, and Jared. I was referring people to him. I wrote an article on him. I was writing articles still at the time. I wrote an article on him, and then they got in touch with me. I started sending people their way. But I've always talked to him on the phone. When I started the podcast, he started coming on. What I've always admired about Bryant is a lot of things, but something huge. And I mentioned it, and then we're going to move on here. But when the pandemic started, Uber said that if you got COVID, I hope that doesn't screw up my stream, but if you got it during the pandemic, then, Uber was saying that they would take your last 2, 3, or 4 weeks, I can't remember, average it out to what you made per week and they would pay you for 2 weeks to stay home if you did catch it while doing Uber. What happened almost immediately? People started catching it left and right. Drivers were getting it left and right. I remember in the early part, we were all following certain stories. I remember the first death I knew from it was that guy in New York, and he died while doing drive it. So like, who knows how many others he spread it to, but the fact is that Uber said, hey, if you're going to go out there and do this, you're not an employee, but we're going to pay you 2 weeks of pay if you get sick. That's what we're going to do. Well, within months, they were getting lots of claims and they just stopped paying them. They stopped running the ad. They do what they do. And what did Bryant do? Bryant actually made a fund. Now, was he able to fund every one of them? No, but he covered a lot. He covered like 5-10% of the people who were getting sick and actually going for the claim. I'm sure a lot of people missed that news and just didn't even bother, but did get sick.
Right.
And just didn't know to file.
But that says a lot about Bryant and his character.
That's what
he
I'm
was
saying.
doing it for the cause, not for, trying to promote his brand or his law firm.
No, in fact, he wasn't even taking them on as clients. He was saying, I know what they promised you, and they're not going to pay you. I already had a couple clients we followed up. They're definitely just shut door on it. Like, nope, there's nothing in writing. Go screw yourself. And so what he did was said, we'll help you out how we can. And he did. I know some people that he did help out, to be honest. So, I mean, like, he did, that's beyond pro bono work. That's work coming out of his money.
Absolutely, man. That's a guy who genuinely cares. And I've worked with a lot of law firms in my time. And, Steve, I made the joke about we're not getting paid, but that's why I like Bryant. But that's also why I like about you, is because these aren't paid promotions. It's because we want to get real information out to drivers.
Yeah, no, pretty sure like people aren't going to pay. They all watch it, but the companies aren't going to pay me because I'm not really doing a lot to promote many of them. No, I do tell you guys about some and where I have my luck. And Last Mile is probably one of the best places to find that, because that's where I go through my earnings. What I've better done is cut down the hours I have to be out there and make the best use of the ones I'm out there. So, but I still am out there all the time. So, and I still do DoorDash and I still do these just to try them out. But I wanted to get, because it plays into this. You were talking about how account sharing, I saw, and you called it the glitch. And I know of these other glitches that you probably do too, about DoorDash and, airplane mode or unwireless and all the crap and stuff. And nonetheless, this is different. But what I don't get, and I didn't even dive down it too much because I thought I'd let you lead this one, is like, why? Okay, so why is it being called a glitch? And what is this account sharing BS warning doing to drivers?
Right. Well, and actually you have a more important story. Well,
yeah, that's why it's going to build right
important story. You have a bigger story, I guess I'll call it. I don't want to say more important story. So if you go to my videos, guys, you can see where I posted one today that on February 1st, I got a notification from Uber that, oh, it looks like you might be sharing your account. Oh, bullshit, Uber. I'm going to call it what it is. I don't share my account. And then ironically, about a week before that, another driver I know, he sends me this message and he was like panicked. He's like, oh my gosh, I got this message and I got deactivated. So I worked through him with the process, how to get it done, this and that. We got him back on in a few hours. No big deal. But this is the thing. They're terrorizing people, trying to fix a problem that Steve's going to talk about here in a second. But meanwhile, they adjusted their algorithm. So what happened with my case when I got mine, I know exactly what likely happened with it. I was leaving my house, I go around the corner, and then I get this, I'm logging onto all my apps in the morning. So I was on Wi-Fi when I was sitting in my driveway, and then all of a sudden I go out, and then I'm cruising down the road, and then I get off, I lose my Wi-Fi, and it says, oh, we need your verification. But I'd already logged on to the app. So by then I changed IPs because I was on my Wi-Fi. Then all of a sudden I'm on data at this point. And then so all of a sudden it goes, oh, here you go. We need your verification. I pull over to the side of the road. Make sure you pull over, guys. It's a huge safety issue. Who cares about your account? Make sure you're being safe about this. I pull over, do my little photo. Several hours later, I get this damn notice. Oh, you might be sharing your account. I'm like, bullshit, whatever. So I just quickly, placated them and said, okay, I didn't do that, proved that I did it, and moved on. And that's all I ever saw from it. The other driver, he actually got deactivated, and we had to go through a little bit of a process to get him back on. So, but what they've adjusted their algorithms so tightly and created so many problems and stressing out and causing problems for drivers and passengers. And they're creating safety issues, Steve, because they're now requiring you. If you look at my video, it says, well, you didn't respond quick enough. So then all of a sudden, this is my damn fault because I didn't take my stupid photo because, I was driving down the road, multitasking, yada, yada. Everybody does it. You're a liar if you say you don't. And so got me thinking.
Some people don't. I actually know some people.
Anyway, that's it. So then they're trying to fix one problem, but they're creating a safety issue. Meanwhile, they got this bigger freaking issue of all this account sharing going on. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Steve.
Well, that's what I want. So what I really wanted to know is why the word glitch? Is this something that is Uber using the word glitch here?
No, I use the word glitch just because I used it as a glitch because it's not a glitch.
Let me rephrase it. They're aware of this.
I don't know that they are. I don't think they care. I think that they're trying to be reactive.
I was under the impression that they were aware of it. They're working. See, the problem with Uber is if they are aware and working on it, they're not going to put out a release so that Sean and I see it.
Right.
They're just going to fix it behind the scenes quickly and go, and then it'll be fixed. They'll go, what were you talking about, dude? And we never had that problem.
Well, no, but I think that's exactly what's going on, Steve.
It's happening to too many people.
Right.
I mean, we got Bubba Sue in New Jersey. She's saying that she got one. She hasn't done rideshare in years.
I know.
But
when
she's still on Uber Eats.
Sue commented on my video, and I was like, well, shit, I thought she mostly did food delivery stuff.
Well, she used to do rideshare.
Right. I know that, but I thought she hadn't recently.
But most of us, there is a way to split them apart. I will not ever talk about it because I was showed it once, but I have my Uber and Uber Eats in one account. Like they share the app. There is a way to get two accounts. I will never say because I don't think you guys should go down that road. You will be deactivated on both, most likely. I only know one person who's tried it, and it's weird to me. So I can't promote that in any way. But so if Sue's getting it, it's hitting the Uber Eats platforms too. Because if she hasn't done one in a couple of years, then, I mean, why would this even be a thing? Why are you getting flagged? Because I don't think any of the people that I'm seeing or hearing this from are sharing their accounts. Most of these people, at least the ones I'm talking about, I know they're not sharing them.
So now that's kind of interesting because I saw a post on Reddit where somebody was specifically asking, were you on your Wi-Fi whenever that happened? Now, as I said, when I initially opened the app, I was on my Wi-Fi. Sue says she was at home. So again, this is the quote glitch. And again, yes, Steve, I think Uber damn well knows there's so much noise being made about it now that they can't not know about it. And yes, that's a double negative, which means they know about it.
So that's going to take us into this story. I'm moving around a little bit in my notes here, but I want to talk to you guys about this. I had Luis on the podcast this week. It was a great podcast. One thing about podcasts on YouTube, it went an hour 40. And that's usually what happens when I have Luis on. If you don't catch the live, it's really hard to get people after the fact to watch an hour 40. Sometimes an hour, they might go, okay, I'll rewatch that. But an hour 40 is tough. But there were some real nuggets, and one of them was 33 minutes. So I cut out the DoorDash part, the round table, And we put that out there, and it performed really well. The average watch, the performance of the video alone, the podcast is doing well too. But one thing that he talked about that was not in that video, and I put out another video on this, is Luis, and I have to give a little background here because we didn't really get into it. So if some of you were hearing that podcast and you heard me saying to Luis, well, I thought you were going to go to the fact that your life had been threatened by Spark. I'm going to walk you through very quickly what happened with Luis on that. So about when Luis and I were pushing legislation in Texas, because that's where he's from, and talking to people, Luis was trying to make news outlets aware of how bad the illegal situation is. And what he did was he had a friend, because Luis, for those that don't know, Luis has been here for a long time. He came in legally. He's here with his wife and his kids, and they live in Houston. He's from Venezuela. I just didn't want to say Venezuela before I said he's here in the right way. And he actually was against the Venezuelans being here and what they were doing with Spark specifically. And we all, if you know, that was one of the worst things that was going down. They were able to scramble. They were talking with the people who, the batch loaders, I think they're called, the loaders maybe, who bring the batches out to your vehicle. And those batch loaders, I think they've changed it, had the ability to cancel your order and reroute it themselves to somebody.
Wow.
And so what they were doing was just working with these Venezuelan gangs. So what Luis did was he asked a friend who was going down for an account out. When I say down, I mean closer to the Mexico border, still in the US. They get to this place, it's pretty deserted, and there are 50 cars. There are phones. There's a couple of makeshift, like school type fold out tables popped up, and there's people there giving you a car and a phone and saying, go work. And then what you would do is you bring back the car every week. They see how much you made. And the oddest thing about it is how you were paid is just whatever they decided they were going to pay you. They'd pay you cash and then move all the money into the bank that you had made on the app. Wow. So, and he said even that was dynamic, but what he did was he infiltrated that. And then he put some videos out, and within days he had multiple threats on his life. There was a 4-day period where the police were watching his house, like big time. This was gang affiliated crap. And I'm not pointing fingers at any. I happen to know some, but if you want to know more, go look through his channel, Delivery TV. There's still a lot of stuff up on that. So
do y'all think that's still going on? Because Torp 73, Toyo 1973 asked what much earlier in the podcast, what's people's opinion on Spork? So I think this has really drawn a lot of this
Toyo,
out.
if you're still here, you'll want to hear this, because this gets insane. Last year, I was complaining about the illegal accounts because of how easy you could get them through Facebook Marketplace. Now, when you were buying accounts through Facebook Marketplace, believe it or not, I mean, Meta's scumbag. Sorry, if you disagree with me on that, I'm just sorry, but that's just my feeling. Because they knew how to at least go after this. But I can tell you that what was going on Facebook Marketplace selling illegal accounts was much harder to dial down where the hell they were. VPNs, all this kind of stuff. We don't have a face associated with it. We don't know what the hell's going on, dude. They're just, and they're everywhere. Now, I always still busted down on them, said, fix this, man. You guys can get on Facebook and say any DoorDash stuff is not allowed to be posted, period. On Marketplace. You shouldn't be selling anything DoorDash. But now I'm completely blown away because I had Luis on, and he sent me a couple of if you guys did watch, I said, send me some of these creators so I can watch. I got to watch one last night. So I'm going to need to watch more.
He was genuinely, he did not want to share that for you. And what I saw on that, Steve, was he was genuinely, I could tell those death threats were legit. At least he felt they were.
I can tell you because I was going to Texas to work with the para team at the time before GigSafe. And I saw Luis quite a bit in person. He would drive up from Houston.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys all for a fact, he was those. They're more than legit. I'm not even giving enough detail. I know more that I'm just not going to put out there, because as he even said on the podcast, he's just trying to get past it. It took a while, but regardless, what he found is, and he's a great investigator. He helped me with legislation here that we were pushing on. He was at the town hall. I've helped him. We have done a lot with each other. And now what he's seeing, Luis is a big TikToker too. He's seeing that on TikTok, you can buy DoorDash and Spark accounts. And I was like Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, how's that happening? And he blew my mind. And I talked to him today to get it cleaned up a little bit, to just make sure, because I watched one last night. What I watched last night, I watched for about 15 minutes. I saw the guy sell about 7 or 8 accounts.
Right.
So you might be thinking, that's not a ton, but this was a smaller one. Luis says he has hundreds, if not thousands of people. Some of them get 1,500 likes, and they're doing major business. But here's how crazy it is. They're going on TikTok and they're going live. They're going live, like Sean and I right now, and going, what do you want? You want a Spark account? You want an Amazon Flex? One thing that is odd about the connection between Uber is not listed in the accounts they're selling. I don't know why or how they're, because obviously that's just them getting around it, because otherwise they'd be doing it. So they're doing Amazon Flex, they're doing Spark, they're doing DoorDash, but they're like in real time going, okay, where do you need an account? And I was trying to get this figured out. So I'm like, he'd go, oh, you're in Denver? We don't have any for Denver, but we have California, we have Illinois, so he was saying, like, each one of these that you run across, you're going to find that they have blocks or ones that can go to specific areas to be activated too. We all know you can then go dash anywhere you want around the country kind of thing, but you have to at least live there and initiate it in the city they sell it to you from. But these people are saying hey, DM me, I'll take care of it. They're charging well over $1,000 on these and whatnot, well over. Some of them upward of 5+. Well, first of all, if you're paying 5+ for a fake DoorDash account, what are you going to do? I mean, are you hoping to make that back this year? Because
I don't know, but
I'm making a joke. My point is it's just nuts. But here's my problem with all of this. So Facebook, I was pissed at, right? And they couldn't fix it, or they didn't want to, whatever.
They don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't want to go into that part, but
I'll say it.
Yeah, they didn't want to. You can go and look into the reasons why they didn't want to. But TikTok has flipped the script so many times, and they're trying to clean up the game a bit. I'm really surprised. And Luis, and this is where, if you did watch it, you might have got a little confused, because Luis and I were talking about basically these people are on there. They're buying these in real time. Some of them are going to be people's real information that they don't even know a DoorDash account's been activated. Some of them are going to be straight up fake. I mean, these are done in so many different ways, but there's a person selling them. So now, like I was saying about the Facebook thing, you don't have a name. And TikTok, even if you're using, and I know there'll be people who say, no, if you're using the correct VPNs, no. Yeah, they know where you are. Let me get there with that. Because if you're using VPNs, they know, if they think it's too many VPNs, they'll tell you that you have to relog in with your VPN off.
Well, and that's part of the problem with the authentication. Where I had the problem is because Uber, they should know my damn home IP by now. And then I do the same routine every single day. But that's where some of these problems are coming in, where they have a glitch. But bottom line is, get rid of your stupid AI verification. If it draws a red flag, have a human verify it. So, but yeah, this is awesome, Steve. Real quick, there was a Toro made a comment that they saw people in with, it sounds like, multiple phones in there. So I mean, it's happening everywhere, Steve. We got to get this under control as a community. And no, there was another one way before that where they saw Toro said that they saw people in there that
and this is what I'll say. I'm not going to back away from this, you guys. I see it all the time.
No,
Still.
and I'm not going to either, Steve. I don't give a damn if I get banned off every platform. This is about
This
creating
has been my
safety for the
fight, man.
community.
Yeah, this
Right.
is not okay. This is what led to, and also, well, I mean, I'm sure that you could point out other things, but this is definitely a few years back. This is what led to
Right.
$2 no tip orders often, not just
Absolutely.
don't take those when they come through, but like where half of them are $2 no tips, because we've even said it on here many times. These people, to them, it's a lot of money. A lot of them live out of one house, use the car
Right.
24 hours cycled, or they live in the car and they're just sending all their money home.
Correct.
So a lot of the illegals who use it aren't even wanting to live here. They want to go back home to their family. They just come here to get money.
Well, and they Western Union all the money back every single day.
And when it's on a fake account, they're not paying any taxes.
Correct.
They're just sending all the money back home. And then at the end of the season, they're like, okay, I'm going back.
Right.
But here's in the issue. So when I was like, so Luis, the main thing I was like, Luis, how is this, how much worse is it? Before I went and looked. So Luis is sending me accounts now. So I'll be watching some of these. I'm waiting for more to go live, but I was like, so, how much more worse is it than Facebook? And he knows I know my Facebook stats. So, and he knows them too. And he was like, well, he's like, so he's like, just think of it like 500 to 1500% times worse. And it's going to keep getting worse because there's more of these people doing this now.
Right.
So I think this is the new scam even for illegal accounts. This is a whole new one. This is, yeah, dude, you know what? Instead of sending our people out there and doing the $2 orders, we'll just sell you accounts for $5,000 live on TikTok.
And the thing is, people are like, well, why are they selling these, these accounts? Well, they're done with a fake ID to begin with, which I actually gave a ride to someone who used to sell these false identifications. And we can talk about that on another episode sometime.
This isn't far from where I am, guys. I never give out my application.
We got derailed really, really good.
I see a lot of this crap. I haven't seen the fire one yet, but it's, like okay, I'll say this real quick. There's a crazy guy who's always on a corner, like really crazy. And I can deal with the people on the corner, not a big deal. So there's a really crazy guy who wears a rope around his neck with a cardboard thing that says, if I just smoked a bowl, I wouldn't be yelling at you.
Oh God, I thought you were talking about me for a second until you said
no,
the
I was
smoke
like,
the bowl.
Every day I see him and he's yelling at people. Give me money.
Well, that's Denver, bro. Yeah. That's why I don't live in Denver.
Give me a bowl and I'll stop yelling. No, and first of all, no, you won't.
Right. I'll just want another one.
Right. You're just gonna no, you won't. But anyway, his assessment was it is that much worse. I will obviously be looking and watching for these because I said, man, he goes, trust me. He goes, I think what he even said it in the live, but he after the fact was giving me even more warning. He goes, watch it, man, because I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. And he goes, yeah, but once you put one in your algo on TikTok, you're gonna. I'm like, but that's what I want. He goes, but your whole algo will be this. Somehow they have that figured out too. They've got it down. Like, oh, you watched this? You want to see these 700 then?
Right. So Toyo had a really good question. If they have to do photo verification, how do they bypass it unless that's built in? Toyo, I'm not gonna. I know how it's done, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to help them.
I know two ways.
Exactly. I think we
so
both know
and I'll tell
way,
you
Steve.
because I had Incognia CEO on who now handles the security for both Uber and in fact Incognia is on all of your phones, by the way.
Yeah, but they're doing a really shit job right now.
Well, because you know what, I need to have him back.
But because Uber and Lyft are allowing him too.
Right, but one of the concerns he had when I had him on last, the CEO founder Andre, the problem was that he was like, well, we'll see how they play ball. He's like, we know how to correct the problem. He's like, but he was definitely alluding to, we'll see if they want the problem corrected.
That was my whole point about what I said about 10 minutes ago is they don't care.
Right. I mean, I'll tell you this, like the most people would, I mean, shadow banning comments. So, and that means that I just don't see them. You got to go into newest on your comments and look, and maybe you'll see other comments you didn't see. There was one on there that I can see where YouTube might be going, you shouldn't say that. But it was about the DoorDash roundtable. It was that one with Luis, and somebody commented, and I applaud him for this, even though it maybe crossed a line, because, and I don't think it's correct either, but it's not something that shouldn't be said. He said, well, yeah, I mean, Tony Hsieh himself said 8 million US drivers at the roundtable. He goes, so 1 million legal ones and 7 million illegal. I didn't have a lot to disagree with that. What I did was I sent him this video, and the response, I said, dude, I'm not going to jump into this one. I said, but maybe watch this. And I sent him the one that is the video of Luis talking about these TikTok accounts.
That's why I didn't say anything, because I was like, I got nothing.
Well, so here's the thing that Incognito told me. They said there's a couple ways this happens. One, when a face verification comes in, even the ones that turn, there's a way to flash in there real quick a person. But the more like real deal ones now, you're going to be setting the facial recognition to you.
Right.
So
Well,
they're giving you an
particularly, like,
account.
with
They might be
Google-
renting you a car. Who knows where the cartel's doing, if it's the cartel, if you're just deactivated and you're going for one of these accounts, who knows how that works. But they're going to, supposedly they're selling you accounts where you're going to set up the facial recognition.
Well,
It's going to be at that point.
like
Hey, yeah,
Google.
this is a new account. Hey, take your picture. Okay. You know, now it's you. So you can pass it anytime you need to.
And a lot of that comes from over in the UK and Australia, Steve, because they're kind of on the front. And it started with because making sure that minors didn't have social media accounts. So I don't know, I'm like putting my podcasts out there in this net. So I had to get my CO Ride Guy account verified. And it's asked me, it's one to do all this facial recognition stuff, including having me go like this. And then all will come forward, and it is scanning my entire facial profile. And, I'm okay with that, not okay with it both at the same time.
So if you okay with Uber taking your money, I must have missed something above.
We missed what you got going on there.
Yeah,
Legend
but I'm
Valley.
not saying I'm disagreeing with you, because most likely Sean and I are probably going to agree with something you're saying here, I think. Or at least part of it, because now you're saying and lift beneath it too. And I got to say that, and again, just because they're not in these TikToks that I've seen so far, again, maybe I'll see them once I dig farther, because Luis isn't looking for rideshare. He's never done that. So maybe I'll find him as I dive down this hole and look. And his whole thing was, here was his summary. Facebook was a huge problem, and we all were like, can't believe the amount of illegal accounts. He goes, if this keeps growing, he goes, game over.
Well, I think it's been growing
this new
COVID.
TikTok, dude, we have never to date had somebody live stream like me right here going, I will sell you DoorDash accounts. That has never been a thing. You never see a face. You never see anything. You're dealing with Bitcoin. You're doing a lot of things where to get this stuff, you're not ever seeing a person. And that's what the Facebook one allowed. This one is, hey, I am right here and I will sell you accounts in real time.
And when were these videos, out of curiosity?
I watched one
didn't
last
catch
night.
that
No.
part.
I watched a live,
It was a live
last night.
Holy shit.
They're all live. That's what freaked me out at first, because I was like, are you just talking about people dropping videos, which would still be a problem? Like, dude, TikTok's I got to be honest with you guys. If you were on TikTok a while ago, they're very strict now. Like it's because
now they're owned by Oracle,
right? But it's always been I've complained about this before. Like it's not like little changes. Like some platforms, like TikTok, always flips the thing upside down. It's like, hey, everything you've been doing, it's wrong. Do it this way now. And that's always been like, I'll just do it my way. But like honestly, like if they're allowing live streams, that the one I watched last night, I just watched whatever the minutes were I watched, but I was able to scrub it back and see how far. I don't know how much longer he went or anything, because on TikTok, Sean probably
Right.
knows this, and some of you might know this. If I do a live on TikTok, it immediately, the second it's done, it's not even up to the creator. It is put in your studio, and it can no longer be in your
And it's
video.
gone.
It's gone. So the minute you're done, it's gone. But when I was in there, I was able to scrub back. The one I watched last night had been going on for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
I mean,
Now,
how is
so
somebody not flagging
were they
that? 'Cause
getting a lot of were they getting a lot of gifts? Even
I
if they
don't
were
know,
small
man.
gifts? Because that's obviously how TikTok monetizes is, now they have TikTok shop, but for the longest time, that's where TikTok made their money was off of gifts and for live streaming and so on and so forth. And then there's, of course, that darker side of TikTok, that went on. So I think this is just another
But
part of it.
TikTok
And just like
also,
everything with Uber and Lyft, they don't want it to go away.
yeah, I mean, they don't want it to go away if they're getting a part of it.
Correct. That's
But if
why I
they're
asked
not
if they were
getting a
getting
part of it, they
gifts.
should absolutely care to get rid of this. And even
I
if they
think they
were
should.
getting a part of it, they should care. I mean, don't get me wrong,
Correct.
but
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if they're not getting a part of it, which I don't see how they would, because I know that some people can promote items on TikTok. Some people can sell their own items, but even if you're selling your own, TikTok's still taking something.
Right.
But I don't think they can on this, because the person's saying hey, message me. I don't know if everybody remembers when the tariffs all started. And again, this isn't political, but if you remember, you went to TikTok, everybody was like, Prada bags are fake. You can get them for $50 right here. And they were selling them from China. And in these places, and they weren't scams. People were getting what they were ordering.
So, but the thing with TikTok is where they go live and you get people to give gifts. Even if they're $1 gifts, TikTok's getting 60 cents on the dollar of that, Steve. So you add that up over time, they are making a huge profit on that. Even if somebody comes in and drops because they want to flex and get a shout out or something like that, and they'll drop $5. It's a whole different game that's not even on our purview as guys that are just driving and doing rideshare. It's a whole different game for them, and so that's really where they're making their money, and we don't see that and realize it, but they want it to keep going on because people go in there and oh, I want to get my shout out, and somebody drops $5. That adds up over time.
So, okay, getting a little more of the story here. So they have to get illegals to drive for them, because no one in their right mind are going to pay these Uber fees. They will, though. They do.
Right.
They're not
they do
happy about
long.
it. But then I see the following comment, and he's saying that Uber typically charges drivers a service fee of roughly 25 to 30. I want to know where you're getting this from, because typically it's 50 to 80% that they're taking from the drivers.
Right.
This to me, your comment is being nice, dude. Way nice.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. I wish I was only getting 25% taken. Shit, they usually take 60 to 50%.
Yeah. I mean, once they do delivery fee, service fee, taxes, once they do everything, and I said it I think I said it last week on here.
I think legend needs to go away.
50-50 is being nice. That's me being nice to say drivers get 50%. But I remember, I do remember, because when I signed up,
stupid, Steve, if you look at the chat.
What?
Look at the chat. I think Legends overextended their time.
Why?
No white people are that stupid.
Legend Valley. I don't know who timed you out, man, but I guess we just
know,
we
cheers.
We just can't have that, because the platforms themselves, even if they're not watching videos, you guys, I can say for a fact, because I know mine has been used in legislation. I am talking with people outside the state, so I have to keep the podcast clean, at least to a degree. I don't mind dropping the truth, but I got to keep it clean, and comments like that could throw it off and make it look like, well, look, I mean, what are you guys racist or like, no,
Yeah.
dude. I'm just
And
trying to put
Legend,
out the facts.
that's exactly where I was going to go, Steve. That's one thing where you and I, and that's why I think we've clicked really well, is number one, we want to tell the truth, and we want to tell the truth with facts, not with what the drama or whatever we're trying to do to bring it on. And also, number three, we're not afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah. No, and that's what it's Dashing with Fran. If you guys don't know her, I'm gonna give her a quick plug here. Dashing with Fran, super nice. Frances, and her name is Frances, by the way. You can tell her that I told you to call her that. But Frances is amazingly awesome. She's just one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. She drops in here once in a while, but I dropped into one of her lives, and she goes, I saw your video last night, and she goes, and once again, you had me right on the edge of wanting to quit gig work. I'm not here to make you want to quit gig work. No. I'm here to help you navigate some shit that I don't care what you believed up till now. Now it's different. Now it's the legislative year. Now the lawmakers don't care about free rides to voting. Now the lawmakers don't care about this. Now the investors care that the drivers can make a living wage because autonomous isn't real. We are facing so many realities this year.
Yes.
And I think that the biggest one is when we did the graph of what Uber had most scared, and we saw that middle thing for law fees. And I even said, I guarantee you that's going to, if they lose one case, that thing's going 4 times up. Well, they just lost it. So if you're an investor, you haven't been proven that drivers can make a living wage. You have been proven that robo-taxis are not here. There is some testing going on, but when I say some, it is so minute. It's almost, I know some people make a bigger deal and it's going to be taking us over tomorrow. It's not. It is not. Yes, some places are not stepping up with the legislation yet, and they're letting these self-insured things have a few in their city. But trust me, we had a kid hit, and the only thing Bryant could say last week was, luckily the kid wasn't killed. I don't even care anymore, dude. Like, you hit a kid, man. You have a LiDAR. You have a $70,000 piece of equipment I don't have on my car.
Right.
And that's supposed to stop you from ever having that issue.
Well, like I said, I mean, Waymo needs to change their motto to, we don't care about children. We just care about stock prices. They just raised another $19 million overnight.
Yeah. Well, I just saw oh, are you talking about Waymo?
Yeah, Waymo. You were talking about
Waymo got Waymo, and that played into what we were talking about too with legal rideshare. That when I said self-insured, I think some people left a comment, and I most respect you guys that did this, because my wording might have thrown you a little, but I was totally kidding when I said, well, why can't I be self-insured? Like, that was me trying to point out how stupid it was.
Money, like I don't.
Right. No, my point was that, like, I wanted Brian to say exactly what he said. Well, they have these, and he even, like, he said it the correct way. They have these tiers, or these, they have these different insurance groups who all play a role. It gets so sketchy. It's like self-insurance should not, my point was self-insurance should not be allowed on the road with us drivers who have to pay insurance.
Well, and
because they can't get tickets. They can't be at fault. They can kill you, and technically in some states they can't be at fault. And one of the things I was so happy Bryant said is, we absolutely need to have a driver accountable for each car.
Right. And by the way, I misspoke. I meant billion, not million, guys. Yeah. So they've got $126 billion valuation now that they had a $19
billion market cap call that they need. I think that that's what I had seen. And I thought that was kind of playing in a little, maybe not totally, but playing into, we hit a kid, man. We got to raise some money because exactly what I was saying.
Yes, exactly.
We're self-insured. Right. Okay, but, and I know I threw out a crazy, I was like, what if 50 Waymos hit 50 kids on the same day? And Bryant answered it like a champ. He goes, well, If they have 50, he goes, I don't know. He goes, but they need to be able to prove that they're self-insured. Okay, so even though my example sounded like ridiculous, it still stands.
Right.
If somebody hacked them, if something went wrong in the programming, and I still think this is just opinion, and I say it because I also just hate Waymo, but I think that they target kids. Like, I don't think intentionally, but I think something is going on where they don't like little people.
And I said that in my podcast, it's like, well, particularly, and I made a joke about it, saying if you didn't, if the kid didn't go into the crosswalk because this kid allegedly went behind a double parked car, which then I got to ask, well, why the hell was the Waymo doing 17 miles an hour whenever there was a double parked car? Because I know me, if I'm in a school zone, number one, I'm going to slow down. Number two, if I see a double parked car, I am going to go to a crawl because I know there's some stupid kid getting ready to do something stupid. So Waymo, I call bullshit. I wouldn't have been doing 17 miles an hour, so I wouldn't need to go down to 6 miles an hour.
So as we run out of time here, I do have to at least hit on that. I mean, just so you guys know, Uber is literally selling the fact that this year, because I mean, if you guys aren't aware, let's just recap something. DoorDash already said they're going to lose money this year, but they said it in a clever way. They said, we're going to be having to do this, this, and this. So if you thought Q4 of last year was bad, just next year is going to be even worse. They were kind of giving a warning about their stock is going to fall when for years it was going to hit 500. Came nowhere close. And so that's happening, but and now we got Uber and all these lawsuits, and they can't just take this. For years they have done this, but they can't just take these lawsuits out of driver pay. There isn't enough left to take it out, even for the people who take everything that we were just talking about that send it all back home. It just doesn't exist. They can't do this.
No. They can't. And that's what scares me, Steve, is because I'm not so sure that a lot of Waymo, Tesla, and all the other robo-taxis don't see the writing on the wall, and they're getting ready to monopolize on that.
Yeah. I think my opinion is the first one there who plants the flag. We're here. Even if it's because my opinion is it won't be working. It'll be like almost in the shape it's in now. Like, we're in 50 states and it still doesn't work, but we're here. I feel like Waymo will get what do you call it? Like residual pay and be paid out for parts and things that other companies are going to basically dissect them and take all their stuff out. And then they're going to, and at that point, we probably don't hear about Waymo anymore. We probably hear about 3 other companies that have stepped in, but Waymo's looking and now Uber with their fleet, they're looking to be the first. Cruise, all these, they want to be the first. There's got to be a reason behind that. The tech isn't there, they don't work, but
in 2008 the banks got a buyout, so now it's time for the autonomous vehicles, I guess, coming up.
Yeah. But again, I don't know that because I don't think that they will. I don't think this country is going to go. This isn't 5-6 years ago. If they get a bailout,
you're right.
This country is not going to have that. They're going to be, I've been pissed at that company for a while. I've been paying triple. Why am I bailing them out?
I'm going to get political for a second. You don't think Newsom and Polis would bail them out?
I don't think they could. I don't think they could get the people to support that.
Well, they don't. I mean, look what happens in Colorado and California. They just go against the people's desires all the time. I think they're going to do whatever they got to do to get these autonomous vehicles in there. So that's a great discussion, Steve, because it's actually somewhere we have a little different opinions. So
no, yeah. I mean, I guess I've just been watching them play for years. When they started expanding into other cities, everywhere they went, I looked into it. Okay, let's look into, Seattle,
right?
Denver. And yeah, Sean and I, we're both in Colorado, but he's in the Springs. I'm in Denver. And then, North Carolina. I looked into all the places that Atlanta, all the places they are. They have the worst people running those cities.
Yes.
So it's like
Exactly.
every place that these toys are, and that's all they are. They're toys. They're rich people toys.
Right.
And all that they have going is the fact that they can bring big suitcases of money to corrupt politicians. That's it.
Right.
And I even have to wonder how much longer that goes, because if you keep hitting kids, even a corrupt politician ain't going to take that unless this is the end of their career.
Well, Polis and nuisance are termed out, so there's the end of that.
Yeah. I see Carnifage from Vegas saying that Uber Eats base pay is down to 150. I've seen less than that, man.
That's horrible.
And not as an add-on.
Oh,
I mean, it's again transparency here, but I mean, like, that's one of the times sticker shock of transparency is kind of sad. It's like, dude, $1 and no tip, like, or whatever.
right.
I mean,
For 10
usually
miles
it oddly does have a tip, so I don't know if they've started playing with the base pay. I think I'll have an episode coming up here soon, because it's been a while since I've done it, where I want to talk about two of my ideas, one of which is a bid on service. The other one is a capping of a market, because I believe wait lists are way better than letting everybody die out on the streets and not have enough work.
Wow.
Because every wait list I've been on for gig apps, except for Amazon Flex, I've got off. So, I mean, usually in a semi-timely manner.
I got 3 years later, this last winter, I got invited to Amazon Flex. I'm like, I'm too old and out of shape for that crap.
I mean, you can go to
now I
TikTok
wanna
and buy
go-
one right now.
Well, there we go. I just want to now. I'm going to log on to my DoorDash account, that I've been on for over a year, and I want to see what the base rate is down here in Colorado Springs now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I told Sue that I was gonna jokingly. I was texting with Sue, and I told her, dude, you can sell plasma if you want. She goes, I might end up having to work on the street corner about it. And
That's
so I told
awesome.
her I might title tonight "Plasma Prostitution versus Gig App Work in 2026."
Man, I'm crying and laughing at the same time.
So you guys, I'm not endorsing it. It is the world's oldest profession.
No, gig economy hasn't been around that long, Steve.
Right. I guess I was talking about, both. I don't know how long plasma's been
another
going on.
profession.
I was joking. Really? You're not going to turn to
No, you
plasma
weren't.
and prostitution? Come on, Sue.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
We all knew you were joking. And I knew you were joking. I was just pointing it out because
Yes,
it's
we did.
sad, dude. It's sad that, like, I remember having friends in the bar industry who gave plasma. And it's sad when people get to that level. I don't mind if you're doing it to help because the community needs it for some reason or something. That's different. But if you're like, dude, I'm $100 short on rent, I'm giving plasma. I always was like, dude, this is not, you need to fix something. This isn't where you should be making money. That's just my opinion. I can't really weigh in on that. You know, I mean, some people do it.
I wouldn't disagree.
I don't know. With blood, you don't get any money, I don't think. That's just a nice thing to do.
Right.
But with plasma, you do get paid. But I'm not endorsing it. I don't think any of you should do it.
No, I don't either. And to your point, Steve, if that's where you're at, then you need to reflect and change your game.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing that I had a couple others, but the last thing I wanted to mention, at least real quick, it's been a while, is dumpling. I did a dumpling shop for a customer the other day. I have been in touch with dumpling, and catering can be done through dumpling. Rideshare can be done through dumpling. However, with dumpling, they're giving you a profile. You set your prices. You show what you can even have odd jobs. I do woodworking. You can do anything you want, and you have a profile, dumpling.us/your profile handle. They will handle the transactions. Let me make sure there's nothing on here. This is the dumpling boss card. And if somebody wants a shop or 3 shops, it's always pre-funded to $1,000. But I can call dumpling and say, hey, I need $2,000 on this for a catering order. They charge a processing fee of 5.8%. and the rest is up to me to decide how it breaks down. I can even give discounts. I can say that, like I have a 15% of the subtotal as money. That's how much I'm going to make for the shop. But each location is its own, and then I have a $20 minimum. So if they want me to go to PetSmart, King Supers, which is Kroger, and the Butcher, that's 3 stops. If I spend a 50 at each, I'm going to get 20 out of each. So I'm going to get $60 because that's a minimum 20. And then I can say, you know what? I'm going to drop one of those for you because it really didn't take me that long today. Customers love you. And the tips, I mean, from day one, I've been on it for 3.5 years. From day one, the tips have been mad sick.
So is it up to you to recruit the people, or,
Yes.
and I'm not familiar with
Yes.
dumpling at all. So they're a transaction processor, basically.
They do have a thing called, sadly, Marketplace, but it's not Facebook, you guys, where people do get on it and they might be searching for a shopper.
Right.
It is all of the branding is done around shopping though. And I'm waiting for that branding to become shopping and more, because it already is more. But you just, like, it took me asking, and can I integrate this? And I've had the CEO and founder Joel on a few times. He said, you can dog walk, you can pet sit at people's houses, you can do this. He's like, and those might just be cash transactions. He didn't even care about that. He's like, I don't care if that's what you're doing. He's like, do it.
Right.
What he did say, and this is so important, is same thing we talk about. He goes, the one thing I'm not doing a checker background check. I'm not fingerprinting. I'm not doing any of it. You do it. And you tell people what you're qualified to do. You be qualified, because I'm not going to be responsible for you saying that you child sit and then I'm getting sued because there's some history that didn't come up in a check. So basically he's saying, do what you want. That's as long as it's legal. But you can list all your services, you can list your fees, you can change your fees, you can give discounts, you can put a miscellaneous in there.
Right.
And if you
And
need
what's
like
their
me,
fee rate?
the biggest thing I had ever done for dumpling was I did a $1,300 Thanksgiving shop. And this was a couple of years ago. I do caterings that big, but this was a Thanksgiving shop, and it took me a couple hours. I made about 150, 175 bucks on this. However, the limit's $1,000. What did I do? I called the dumpling boss card and I said, hey, I'm doing a shop. I didn't know it was going to be 12, but I knew. I'm like, I'm definitely going to fall over 1,000. Right. And they're like, well, for the next, they're like, you're at the store right now? And I said, yeah. And by the way, they're human 24/7. There's no AI. You're, hello, dumpling. So got on the phone. They all know what they're doing. And I said, I'm at the store. I'm doing this shop for Thanksgiving. It's a regular customer of mine, but I'm looking at the list and it's going to go over. And they said, well, for the next hour, if you need more, let us know. But for the next hour, I'll qualify your card for $2,000. So they're like, you're in the store doing the shopping? Okay, we'll move it up for an hour to 2,000. You do the shop. Because with dumpling, you have to take a picture of the receipt and you have to hand the receipt to the customer. They have to have the receipt. It's in-store pricing.
Wait, you mean they're not changing the pricing on it like another company, like Instacart?
A couple of my clients have me go to King Supers, and if you don't live in states that do this with gas and stuff, I put in their phone number when I'm checking out. So like here in Colorado at King Supers, you get gas points.
Yep. So they get their points too.
Yeah, they get not only what the store price is, they get in-store discounts that are going on that day, like anything, especially if they have a phone number, and they're getting gas points. Like I'm doing a world of good for them. So I make a lot more. These are people who have left Instacart and things like that. And just what they've told me is by paying me $70, $80 for a couple hours of work, they're paying less than they were with Instacart to pay the guy $7 in the end. With the markups, with the service fees, all that. They're like, Instacart, I was paying more on Instacart for the same deliveries you're doing, and I'm tipping you 20%, then I'm tipping you $25 after the fact. And I'll see my earnings are 60, 65 bucks. And they're like, that cost me less than Instacart.
See, I think there's a huge value in that transparency alone.
Yeah. I mean, this is the reason I'm bringing it up, guys, is Dumpling does do they used to have a free one, but I think that now you can still do 90 days for free. We used to have a code, Holly and I, and I'll have to look and see if we still have it, because it gets you Dumpling U too, which is their university that's open it's open during the day. It's Pacific time from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they have classes. And if there's no class going on, they'll teach a 20-minute class in anything you want. You can just go in there and go, you know what? I need to know more about this. They'll be like, cool. You actually get on video chat, or you can just do it other ways, but video chat's the most common one. You'll get somebody at Dumpling. And they're like, what do you need? And they're like, well, dude, when I'm doing this.
Wait, I got a human?
Right, but they'll give you strategies. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can call and say, what am I doing wrong? And they're like, well, you're charging 20%. That might look a little high to people. Maybe lower your percent, but make your minimum higher. If you get some people who want multiple stores, and at some stores they're only spending $25, make it a minimum $20 per stop, but then 15%. They were the ones that told me, take it down from 20 to 15. Since I did that, my customers are happy and I get bigger tips.
Perfect. Win-win. So it looks like the Dumpling's coming into Vegas finally.
Dumpling should be everywhere.
Nice.
The only thing about Dumpling that you guys need to know, you should probably know this already from the other apps, is that you still can't deliver Trader Joe's. If you guys don't know, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all those, you can't deliver Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's does not allow any of that shit. And I get people on Dumpling saying, can you shop? I mean, like half of the marketplace people that I'll find, that find me, say, can you go to Trader Joe's? I'm like, I can't.
They're going to die on
they're
that
literally
damn hill.
looking for like, who can? Because I'm sick of this. And the answer is nobody. Nobody can go to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's doesn't want that in there.
Yeah.
They don't want people looking
Meanwhile,
through and touching all their food and shit. It's not, if you've never been to one, it's not even that it's upscale so much. It's just trendy. And like,
man,
walnuts are like $1 million.
There's no more good $2 chucks, so why the hell go to Trader Joe's? I'm going to Whataburger.
Every time I walk into Trader Joe's, I'm gonna be honest with you, I look around like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I could have a list with me, and I'm like, right. I don't think they have anything I need.
Exactly. But we're not their demographic.
But I mean, like Bubba Sue says, love Trader Joe's. I did when they first opened, but the problem is they're just so damn expensive, man. I can't afford Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
No chance. Like they do have some great little odd Trader Joe's things, like chocolate covered raisins or some. They're going to be, if you like that, they're going to be the best ones you've ever had.
Or when Charles Shaw made a great $2 wine, that was the only place you could get it, was, got called $2 Chuck. I remember going to California and I would literally take a carry-on empty just so I could fill it up with $2 Chuck before they had Trader Joe's in Colorado. And that was when Charles Shaw made a good wine. But yeah, I'm not into it for the flair.
So Endorphin Factory is in Salt Lake City. And he's even saying, so sometimes like some of the markets roll out a little slower. Like him saying that, the reason I'm putting it up there is it's a big thing, because him saying that, usually Salt Lake City isn't first in the launching markets.
So
that, I guess what I'm saying is that's telling me, if you haven't seen it already, expect it.
What's the base that you're seeing in Denver, Steve?
I guess if we have enough time, I'll tell you what, because I know you were curious what I was doing on your live the other day. So and again, I'll let you guys argue this out, because a lot of people don't agree with my tactics. But here's the thing. I learned a while ago that there's no money to be made on Uber Eats for me.
Right.
There might be some day where I'm stuck somewhere, I turn it on. but never. So these days I don't even turn it on really. Like last year, it was barely on. It didn't even qualify for 0.1% of my earnings. But for 6 weeks before the new year, they were giving me a promo every week of 100, if not 120 for every 10 I did. Now, then the first week of the new year saved me because first week of New Year sucks. And they did the 120, I think, per one I did without a limit. So I did like 60 deliveries that week, the first week of this year. And it would have meant nothing. I would have made jack nothing had it not been for the $720 bonus I got for those 60. Because if I remember right, I didn't even hit 1,000 with all of the earnings from 60 deliveries on top of the 720, meaning I didn't even make $280 for 60 deliveries. So my new thing, and this is where people, I think, get a little like, dude, you shouldn't do that. And I'll tell you why too. They say that you shouldn't do that because what I'm doing is I don't even open Uber Eats unless I see a drop down that says this is a bonus. Because after that one, it went away for 2 weeks. It just came back, and I have 2 this week. This time it is limited. It's not unlimited. I can do 2 of them. They're for 80, not 100. So what am I doing? I'm looking for 1 mile, $2 no tip orders. Because I would much rather race the clock and get the bonus than because I think the trick is they want you to still look for a decent order.
Right. And
like,
not be able to make
I'm not going to take that. It's a mindset flip. I had to literally teach my mind and focus and be like, dude, take all the worst orders there are, as long as the miles are short. And a lot of people are like, dude, you're part of the problem. I'm like, the problem is that Uber Eats is, I'll break down the numbers before we wrap this up tonight, because I think you guys should hear this. So here it is. Here was the first, I don't have the second one that I just did, but here was the first one I did this week. It took me 3 hours and 10 minutes real time. This is not active time. I turned it on. I didn't do any other apps. I just did Uber Eats real time. My Uber Eats earnings and I had to do 10 to get the bonus. So I did 10. Those 10 earnings, or my earnings for those 10 in 3 hours and 10 minutes, $53.12. Now, the bonus is 80. So the total earnings that I made for 3 hours and 10 minutes was $133.12. The total miles I did, 34 while on delivery, 52 total. Hourly, Uber Eats no bonus, $16.60. Hourly Uber Eats with the bonus that I got, $41.60.
You're making the apps work for you. You're not working for the apps. I can't hate on that.
I just don't. I think you're the same way, Sean. I just don't play the gamification. I don't like it. I just won't. And in fact, it's made me get off apps. Dude, stop trying to. I'm going home. Well, no, we're gonna. No, shut up, dude. I'm going home. But like
I did that today.
This is the polar opposite. I don't open Uber Eats unless there's a bonus now.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's me gamifying them. But here's my problem with it is. But okay, so I'm stoked to make 41.60, right? But why not spread that? Why not just add $2 to every offer, which would still be less kind of thing, and give it to everybody? You see what I'm saying? Like, why keep promoting me, who you don't even see come on the platform, unless you offer me a promo where I'm going to make at least twice, if not 3 times as much as I can earn on your platform from your bonus?
We're only thinking about us. We're not thinking from the consumer end. So that's the long game for them. They might be paying you a little bit more because you're gamifying them instead of them gamifying you, but they're screwing the consumer on the other end of it. So the house is always going to win, bro. You know that as well as I do.
And so one thing that I learned is, and this is why I can say I don't even turn it on until I see a drop down of a bonus now,
right?
Because I've trained all my algorithms. And that one I had trained. I don't even Uber Eats. I had trained. I don't take it if it's that bad, which is like all of them.
No.
But sometimes they were sending me something better. What I did notice is end of last year when these promos were going on, after it ended or something, or before the next one, I would turn it on and they were like, "You like the $2 no tip orders?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And so I was just,
Right.
I'm like, dude, they at least were better than this. What's going on? They literally were like, "No, this is your new algorithm you taught us." And I'm like, "Okay, well then
Right.
I'll only work when there's bonuses. I don't need your app."
Yeah, man. I experienced the same thing with rideshare. You know, it's like if they piss me off, I will literally drive 10 miles home. I'll shut that son of a bitch off and say, I'm done with you, to teach the algorithm a lesson. I would rather lose money on that one single ride than for the rest of the week or the rest of the month or the rest of the year, because I'm training that algorithm. I will take less. Guys,
Yeah.
make these apps work for you. Don't work for them.
Yeah. Because even no matter what state you live in, even if like you can argue the point, and maybe you can, that, well, no, they still send me a hodgepodge. I don't know. I see everything. I'm telling you, things are changing, but they do pay attention. That data is expensive now. They do pay attention. If you're absolutely never taken any, I'm just going to throw it out there. I know that most people have lowered the number, but let's just say $2 a mile. If you're absolutely never taken more than $2 a mile, out here, they've gotten to the point where they're not going to, maybe once in a while, but they're going to try and only send you those. Not Uber Eats as much as DoorDash, but like DoorDash definitely. But I'd rather only see 3 DoorDash orders in an hour if 2 of them I don't think are bangers, but I can find them respectable, because that's about all I can do in an hour.
Right.
So don't bombard me with 30% or 30 offers in an hour. Just send me the 3, and I know it feels like, hey, it's slow, but either you're multi-apping, or even if it's not, regardless, if you only see the 3, but 2 of them make sense, I think that most of us can agree 2, if you live in a big city, at least 2's tough. And I mean, not stacking, none of that. I'm talking about 2 separate orders. Like, it's tough to get more than 2 in an hour.
Right. When they stop throwing tons and tons of orders at you guys, that's when you know you're winning, because they're just not throwing shit at you. They know you're not going to take everything. So when you have to sit a little bit, that means you've got that algorithm tuned in.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. My zone for DoorDash is 90 square miles. It only produces on your averages. So those that don't know, 7-figure dasher Tom, he does crazy amounts of it. Like, you gotta go look at his channel to see. This guy works crazy hours, like, and we all have. So I have a respect for it too. I've seen his numbers, but like,
you know what I love?
I just get worried.
He knows his numbers. That's what I love, and that's what I can respect.
Exactly. And if you go to his channel, you'll see that every day, first you'll see his earnings, and then you'll look up, and then you want to know the time, right? And that's when you'll go, oh, but he works a lot. But nonetheless, guys, look at his numbers. I mean, almost every day, this guy clears $400 on DoorDash only. Now, again, go look at his stats, because you're going to see how much he works. He works a lot, so. But that's what some of us
smart
do.
Hours too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's, if you can do all that, but again, we always say market to market and whatnot, but I will say, like, for things like Uber, I don't care if you do Uber Rideshare or Uber Eats, you're going to feel these lawsuits. We're all going to feel these lawsuits this year.
Yep.
Like, when they send me $120 bonus to do 10 offers with unlimited amounts I can do that week, and I'm only making $50 to do those 10, but then they pay me 120. That means they're paying me 220% more than I'm being paid by their own app in a bonus. My feeling is those are going to be gone.
Yep.
Very soon. Like they can't do
Steve,
this.
It's a great and a sad way to wrap everything up, is that we are all going to pay for this, guys.
Yeah. I mean, but again, to make you feel better too, people, the businesses, this is why Big Red F, we're waiting, and I'm still waiting for all that. But like, that's why Big Red F's doing what they're doing, because they broke down the numbers and we're losing money to you guys. Customers are getting screwed left and right.
Right.
I mean, even the customer portal doesn't have a human anymore on Uber Eats. If you're a customer, you cannot get a human. You can only deal with the AI.
No, not at all. And you're lucky to get the AI even.
Yeah,
Same
but I
thing with
mean,
rideshare
but there always
version.
was a way as a customer to get to a human. You might have to wait and jump
Right.
some hoops, but now that's gone.
But even on the ride side, it's that way, Steve, that
Yeah.
people cannot, and they're just raking in the dollars because people get frustrated and pissed off. Same thing with drivers. You know, they say, well, you know, why aren't you filing a report and collecting your $5? Because it takes me 45 minutes to get my $5 on that cancellation fee. And people give up and move on. And they know that.
You guys, I don't know why every podcast this week has gone so long. We're way over. So I wanted to put this out there. Oh, I'm on the wrong day here. I wanted to say that again, make sure to check out Sean's podcast. It's in the description. It'll be in the description of the audio podcast, but it's at CO Ride Guy. It's pretty easy. So Colorado CO, just like state initials, Ride Guy, just like it sounds. But it's in the description below. Give him a check it out. And Tuesday nights is when he does his live. Go over and give him some support. We all, I think for first week he did great. And I guess like my hope is it'll just grow from there, because I've seen people start podcasts or things like this and not have any, and it wasn't like there was a million, but I've seen people do it with one person in the audience or something like that. You had people there, and that's something to say for a first one.
Yeah, we did. I'm going to tell you, man, like I told you, this is my first rodeo, and bad pun on your your podcast name, but it's not my first rodeo doing this. So I have a little bit of advantage that a lot of people don't, but I'm going to tell you, I was really happy and excited. Thank you to everybody from Steve channel that came over and checked me out on Tuesday night. We'll be out there for our second episode on Tuesday as well. Hope to see you all again.
I'm going to let Sean do it.
Repeat the days and frequency of the podcast. So yeah, once again, Seven Figure Dasher, thank you. It's going to be Tuesdays at 7 or 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So that would be 5 Pacific. Steve, you got this figured out. 7 Eastern Time. Is that correct?
No,
oh my gosh.
8.
That's
8
too many.
8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Yes,
see, again, Sean and I are in the weird time zone. But again,
So
I
what
learned
Steve
the
said-
reason I say it that way, Sean, is because I learned a long time ago, again, the amount of people, but I used to say it in my time zone. It was really throwing people off.
You know,
Even
I
though they
should
can
figure
go to
that
the
out.
video and say, dude, and I was getting a lot of emails like, it says 8. Well, you're in Eastern time. Oh, you're not? Like, I was getting a lot of what are you
that's a
doing
great
living out of
pro
the
tip.
Eastern time zone, man? Like,
I'm going to use it because I can't even freaking figure it out. So
yeah, I mean, that's how I would do it. I mean, and you don't even need to do the Pacific necessarily, in my opinion, but you need to do it in Eastern time.
fair enough.
That's what's been.
And even,
I mean, it really is.
you're not wrong, because if I go back to my corporate life, that's what everything would be like. We'd set our meetings, it'd be Eastern time. So that's a great tip. I honestly appreciate that. Good night, everyone.
So check it out, you guys. And
Thank you.
yeah, until next week, you guys be safe out there. Hustle hard and earn smart. And we will see you back here next week.